by the way.
Assalamualaikum and good day to Professor Muhammad Zahir bin Hassan. My name is Muhammad ARIESSA bin AZMI. For this video, we will demonstrate about vehicle brake system, laboratory drum brake inspection, removal and refitting. So for this lab season, we will be performing 3 stages of procedure, which is remove drum brake assembly, inspection of drum brake and refit drum brake assembly. I will share with you the equipment and tools we use for this experiment. Firstly, of course we need a car jack to jack the car. Next, we need a cross wrench to remove the nut from the tire, but we can also use a handgun or a torque wrench for that. Next, we need a hammer and a set of spanner. We also need a screwdriver, jack stand to withstand the vehicle.
Firstly, use a wrench to loosen the nut that attach the wheel to the brake drum. Use a jack to jack the vehicle and use a jack stand to withstand the vehicle. Use a wrench to remove all the nuts that attach the wheel to the brake drum. Pull out the tires and use a top wrench to loosen the nut of the wheel hub. Then, we can just pull the brake drum apart from the backplate.
For the next step, remove the backplate drum brake by using a spanner to facilitate the process of isolating other parts from the backplate.
Next, use a screwdriver to remove the hold-down spring which holds the brake shoe toward the backplate. From the bottom retaining spring, we can also use a screwdriver to completely remove it from the brake shoe.
Okay, next the condition of brake pad. Okay, so for the first one is the condition of brake drum is rusty. Next, the shoe lining assembly for thickness still thick and in a good shape.
Okay, the next part is the backplate. As we saw in this video, the condition of the backplate is a bit fenced, but it is still in good condition.
Okay, for both two shoe spring 1 and 2 is in a good condition. Next, the condition of the retainer spring is still in a good condition.
Lastly is the wheel cylinder. The condition of the wheel cylinder, as we have seen, is in good condition, and the mechanism used by this wheel cylinder is a mechanical adjuster.
Next, we will be performing an inspection on a brake drum. There are 3 stages of inspection. The first stage is inspection of brake lining thickness. The second stage is inspection of drum brake inside diameter, and the third stage is inspection of the rub test between the brake lining surface and the inner surface of the brake drum. First, we will be using the vernier calipers to measure our finding for the first stage of the inspection, the brake lining thickness. We will be taking one side of the brake shoe and perform 3 side reading measurement using the vernier calipers. For the first reading, we obtained that 2.89 mm, the second reading is 2.97 mm, and the third reading is 6.67 mm. Next, we will move on to the second stage of the inspection. What we need to do to the brake drum is divide it into 4 parts of measurement, which this way we can determine the offset of the drum brake. The first reading we obtain is 167.14 mm. The third reading is 167.08 mm, and the last reading is 167.62 mm. The average for the inside diameter is 167.39 mm. Lastly, for the last stage of inspection, which is the rub test. This is inspection to determine whether the surface of the friction for the brake lining and inner surface of the brake drum has a roughness or a smoothness. Our finding regarding this activity is that all brake shoes surfaces have a choke effect, and this means that the surface of the brake drum has high friction and still in good condition. From this activity, we will determine either the brake drum needs to be changed or the brake shoe needs to be changed.
Next, for the installation of the brake shoe, firstly, use a plier to refit all the component and spring to the brake shoe. Make sure all the component and spring refitted correctly. Install the adjuster brake. Refit both of the brake shoe together before install the top retaining spring, which will hold the both of the brake shoe together. Install the top spring for the brake adjuster, then we are good to install on the back plate. Insert the cable handbrake to the brake shoe before refitting it back to the back plate. Install the bottom retaining spring to hold the both of the brake shoe together. Next, we can install the hold down spring to hold the brake shoe completely to the back plate. Use a screwdriver or a plier to easily refit the hold down spring. For the procedure of refit drum brake assembly, use a spanner to tighten the nut of the back plate to the wheel cylinder. Put the brake drum to the wheel hub.
After refitting the all part of drum brake, reinstall the tire and install the tire nuts, but do not tighten first. Remove the jack stand and then get off the car using the jack. After that, tighten the car tire nut. Okay, after we done demonstrate the video for drum brake assemble, inspection and refitting, we move to the lab sheet for result of data and question. If you can see, this is our result for data finding. In the figure 6, as we can see, that is drum brake part, and we will identify the name for each part of drum brake. For number 1, the drum brake part name is brake drum. Number 2 is brake return spring. Number 3, shoe hold spring. Number 4, adjuster lever. Number 5, adjuster screw. Number 6, brake return spring. 7, hold down cup. 8, hold down spring. 9, return spring. And 10, brake shoe lining. And next, number 11, shoe adjustment assembly. Number 12, plunger guide. Number 13, reaction load spring. 14 is a parking lever. 15, leading shoe. 16, brake hold down pin. And 17, vacuum manifold. 18, control valve plunger. 19, wheel hub. And lastly is a back plate.
Assalamualaikum, my name is HAQEEMEE, and today I would like to answer the question on lab 3, drum brake. So for question 1, based on your finding, what is the condition of brake shoe lining? Should it be replaced with a new shoe lining? The answer is condition of shoe lining is still good, it is still thick, and the rub test show that all the surface shows high friction and in good condition, so there's no need for the shoe lining to be replaced. And for the question 2, explain your result of drum brake inside diameter. At first position, we required 167.14 mm. At second point, 167.08 mm. At third point, 167.72 mm. And finally at fourth point, 167.62 mm. The condition of the brake drum is rusty. that lead to the different measured value. It must be due to corrosion inside the drum brake. For question 3, if deep crack found on the drum, can it be repaired? Explain your answer. So my answer is the drum can be repaired but not recommended. It can be repaired because drums are manufactured using metal that can withstand welding. It is not recommended because when repairing or welding the drum, you must do with extra care in order to avoid further cracking. Okay, question 4 state that what is the advantage of drum brake compared to disc brake? So here is the advantage of the drum brake. Drum brake can provide more braking force than an equal diameter disc brake. Drum brake lasts longer because drum brake have increased friction contact area than a disc. Drum brake are cheaper to manufacture than disc brake. Rear drum brake generate lower heat. And lastly, drum have slightly lower frequency of maintenance due to better corrosion resistance. And for conclusion, to conclude our lab, drum brake are very important in automotive industry. The brake utilize two drum shoes and a drum where two shoes expand outward into the spinning drum forcing it to stop. In this lab, we are able to identify the component, the function, advantage and disadvantage of brake drum. In this lab also, we learn how to assemble and disassemble the brake drum. Thank you.